Hello, everybody. Matthew Brand here. And something you can do right away to start building success, and I'm not speaking as a guru, just from previous experience, is to build a community. And I don't mean just like online or just a following, which that does help too, but really build a community, like people around you, people in person, people you know. Find friends, find associates, find mentors if you possible, and find people who can honestly learn from you. Find all four of those, and on top of that, just find people who are interested in the same things as you. And if you find, all five of those, and let's say you find 10 or 15 of each of those, even if you just find a few of each of those, now you have a solid community around of people around you that can help you when you need something, that can provide advice when you need it, that can help help check over things with you to make sure you're doing things well, or maybe can add some constructive criticism. People who can, let's say, even proofread something, give you some, what would you call it, uh, you know, uh, what was it called? Like, a tip, tip or a hookup. That's what I was going to say, like a hookup. Let's say you need a better job, or you're trying to get connected to certain types of people, all that kind of stuff. Build a community. That is like the number one, and it's not just for success. Excuse me. It's not just for success in business. That helps with success in relationships, with business. Even with health, because it's like if you're going through something health wise or physical, you're going through depression or some type of sadness or a life experience. There are other people who've gone through that too, and having somebody who's like actually close to you, who can be there for you when you need it, or to talk to you about it, is a lot better than going online all the time. Again, online, building a following and getting connections and building a community online is really important too for success nowadays. But having that in person is so much more in depth. Online is kind of like it's good. Or sometimes it's for that real person to person connection, like where all that the benefits you get from that. Sometimes it's kind of subsidiary. Sometimes, especially, let's say, for example, you're having a trouble in your personal life, and it's with a person or whatever, and then they have this thing on Reddit called, like, am I the uh you know AH, or whatever. And so, am I the AH? Am I the jerk? However you want to put it. And they put it online, and then you get all these comments and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, that can put you can use that kind of as like some validation or a little feel good or something like that. But it doesn't provide the same level of accountability that that in person does. That, like, having other people around being like, hey, that's not cool, or hey, that you could probably handle that better. I'll give a really good example of why, in a way, this doesn't work out great with online. So there was a Christian. So just for context, I am Christian, but so at some point in time, I was like, I haven't really had time to go to church much or be involved in anything. So I was like, oh, let me try online. And a lot of the online Christian things were just these. I I hesitate to say it, but they were basically, a lot of it boiled down to women going online, fussing about their boyfriends liking some chick on Instagram. And then you would have all these women saying, "Oh, you guys are unevenly yoked, and you guys are this, and you guys are that." And I had two problems with this, and then I brought it up in one of the things, and I just stopped going on them all together because they really weren't any helpful. But I brought it up, and some people were like, "How dare you?" But the point was, they didn't get so mad because I was wrong. They Some of the people got mad, and it was usually like the administrator or something. They got mad because that was the whole point of the community. There's no other point to it but to vent about what was going on in your personal life. But the problem is, these people are, like, I don't want to say known, but you're basically venting all your partner's private information online for everybody to see. Now that's just so common nowadays, people don't think about it. But it's like, let's say, even if you let's say if my girl, I don't know. I had a love of my life. She, this woman, she put. We first started dating, and she she was trying to do laundry, and she just didn't know how to do anything domestic. She was basically, if I could describe her, she was basically Goku. She worked out all the time, and but as far as domestic and certain social things, that was just not. It wasn't that it was beyond her. It was just like something she just didn't have an interest in. She was just interested in training for the most part, and she one time she wanted to be helpful, so she did some laundry, and she used dish soap. Now I'm not telling her name. If anybody knows they know who I'm talking about. But I'm not saying her name. But she put dish soap in the laundry machine, and what would you call it? It just soaped up. It soaped up. I didn't care. But how would it feel if I had put that on to her? If I had put that online for everybody to see, and just to fuss about it, that would be so rude and disrespectful. And it's the same if you're fussing about your husband or whatever leaving the toilet seat. You don't want him doing that to you. Don't do that to him. Now, if you're wondering why, if I have such a problem with it, why would I just mention it just now? She's not uh, with us anymore. That's not it's not something for her to have a problem with anymore. I don't even mean in a relationship. She's just not like here on this plane of existence anymore. So, but the point is, she did stuff like that. I didn't care, but even if I did care, I wouldn't have slapped it all online for everybody to. I think the worst thing I ever did to post online, and I never mentioned who I was talking about, was I said that Prince was better than Taylor Swift. I don't care. I stick with that. I think Prince was a better musician, performer, and everything compared to Taylor Swift. That's just how I felt. And they didn't think so. I didn't say, hey, my girlfriend thinks that. Now, this was not the same person. Just context, this was not the same person. But I didn't say, hey, my girlfriend thinks that Taylor Swift is better than Prince. I didn't do that. I just asked people who up here thinks that Taylor Swift is better than Prince or whatever, or vice versa. And they were like, everybody, was like, yeah, Prince won overwhelmingly, at least in my circle, right? So my point wasn't to start a flame war over who's better, Taylor Swift or Prince. I still say Prince, but the point is, my point was not to create a flame war over that. My point was that that's all they were doing was going on there and bashing their significant others. And because that's all the community was for, it had no other purpose. It was a subsidy, and then you couldn't hold anybody accountable, because if a girl posted that, every girl was going to jump up and then agree with her without even knowing the context of the relationship, or even let alone hearing his side of the story. Sometimes that's not even the case. And a lot of the times, what girls do in these situations are just, what would you call it? Like, they're less frowned upon. Like, they do stuff that is bad, like this, like exactly what she's doing, but it's less frowned upon than what the things that guys do wrong. It's like the stuff they do wrong, that's considered like a great offense. Well, what the girl does wrong is just like, well, we could talk about it. Like, but if a girl does something, oh, well, they just need to work on it. Maybe you guys can just talk about it. Where if a guy does something bad in the Christian community, very often, oh, you're unevenly yoked. My point is, these kind of things take a big shift when you have these in-person communities and in-person relationships and in-person families and connections that you can talk to, and you can get a much deeper understanding. You can't subsidize that with online, because it just boils down to that long rant that I don't know, I kind of got off track, but you get my point. It boils down into that. So anyway, if you agree with that, please hit a like. If you have any comments on it, give some commentary. And if you would like to join this journey towards success, then please subscribe. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everything. Peace out.